Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon spent almost $100 million of her own money trying to get a Senate seat for herself in Connecticut, trying over 2 elections, and she lost both times. This time, Linda McMahon tried to make it look like she was running on the same ticket as President Obama, which was a very, very nice try. But Connecticut voters apparently knew that Linda McMahon really is a Republican, and she lost. She lost the Senate race in blue state Connecticut by 12 points. But look at this. Linda McMahon lost the women's vote by nearly twice that margin. She lost overall by 12, but she lost women by 21. Linda McMahon, despite being herself a woman, running against a man, had a gender gap problem that was among the worst of all the Republican candidates this year. And boy, did Republican candidates this year have a gender gap problem. Look at this. In Florida's Senate race, Republican Connie Mack lost to Democrat Bill Nelson by 13 points overall, but he lost by 20 among women. In Missouri, Republican Todd Akin lost to the Democratic incumbent Claire McCaskill by 16 points overall. He lost among women by 22 points. In Pennsylvania, Republican Tom Smith lost by 9 overall. He lost by 18 among women. In Indiana, Republican Richard Murdoch lost to Democrat Joe Donnelly by 6 points overall. He lost by twice that, by 12 points among women. In Virginia, Republican George Allen lost to Democrat Tim Kaine by 6 points overall, and again, by twice that margin among women. Lost the women's vote by 12 points. In Wisconsin, Republican Tommy Thompson lost to Tammy Baldwin, the Democrat, by 5 points overall, but his margin among women, this is actually admirably enormous. He lost women by triple that. He lost women by 15 points. In Massachusetts, Scott Brown, the Republican incumbent, lost to Democrat Elizabeth Warren by 8 points overall, and by more than twice that, by 18 points among women. In the great state of Ohio, Republican Josh Mandel lost to Sherrod Brown by 5 points overall. His margin of defeat among women was 14 points. In Montana, Republican Denny Rehberg lost to John Tester in a close race overall by about 4 points, but among women, he lost by 9. Look at this now. In Nevada's Senate race. Now, in this race, the Republican, Congressman Dean Heller, won this Senate race. He won overall by 1 point. But he did it no thanks to women. He actually lost the women's vote by 6 points. So women voters in Nevada did not support the guy who won. They picked his opponent, Democrat Shelley Berkeley. Same thing happened in the Arizona Senate race, where Republican Jeff Flake won by 5 points. But if you look at how women voted, he actually lost the women's vote. The preference of women voters in Arizona is not the guy who won the election. Arizona women picked the Democrat. They picked Richard Carmona. The governor's race in Indiana, Republican Mike Pence was elected. He won by 4 points. But if you ask women, they did not pick him. He lost the women's vote by 5 points. If Indiana women had their way, Mike Pence would not be the new governor of that state. They chose the Democrat. Women chose the Democrat, John Gray. Now look at this in the presidential race. North Carolina was one of 2 states President Obama won in 2008, and he didn't win this time around. Mitt Romney ended up winning North Carolina by 3 points this year. But if you ask North Carolina women, they prefer Barack Obama, thank you very much. Romney barely won the state overall because he had big enough numbers with men to make up for it, but he lost among North Carolina women. North Carolina women did not change their preference from 2008. They voted for President Obama again this year. This might have happened in other races, too. I should say we only have exit polling data this year from 31 states, not from 50 states, which I think was a decision made, I think, for financial reasons. They just decided not to do exit polling in all states, so we don't know what happened to the other 19 states. It's sort of a tragedy because we mined this data for so many different reasons for so many years to come, and we won't ever have complete exit polling data for the whole country this year, just 31 states. But what is clear from the data that we do have is that Republicans really lost women and lost them badly. Where Republicans are losing elections, their losses are built on extraordinarily poor performances with women voters. Even where Republicans are winning elections, their weakness with women was a major vulnerability. If Republicans want to fix what went wrong for them in this election, isn't this a place to start? I mean, President Obama did not win among women voters by nearly 6 times his overall margin of victory because President Obama is a lady. He is not a lady. I mean, Linda McMahon is a lady, but that did not help her either. This is not a matter of chromosomes. It's a matter of policy. When women voters in Connecticut rejected Linda McMahon by almost twice the margin the state as a whole rejected her, that was not because she's a woman, right? It was because of policy. It is not about running the wrong person in one particular race. It's not about a candidate here and there making a super unfortunate remark about rape. The problem Republicans are having with women voters is a policy problem. It is a big, sweeping, party-wide, nationwide pattern for the Republicans. It's about what the Republican Party stands for. Republicans are telling American voters a story about their vision for the country that is making women voters say no. That's making women voters vote for whoever is not the Republican, no matter who the Republican candidate is. This pattern is consistent all across the country. How are Republicans going to fix that problem? Because this is a demographic problem that is not going to get better. I mean, unless Republican governors in the swing states can kind of figure out some way to reverse women's suffrage, this is not going to get better for them over time. In America, women consistently vote in higher numbers than men do. And that is as much a problem for the Republican Party as is the wholesale rejection of their party by African Americans and Latinos. And if the average voter in America is female, and that is true, more women are voting than men in basically every election, then the Republican Party is going to need to figure out how to stop repulsing that average American voter as much as they evidently repulse women now. Running Republican women candidates is not going to solve this problem. Ask Linda McMahon. This is a policy problem. How are you guys going to fix that?